Welcome back to the State Farm Arena. T1 are a game away from making their first World Final in 5 years. The FLICKR era, the T1 era ended in 2017 when the man made 4 World Finals, winning 3 of them in a 5-year streak. We come 5 years later, he's went pretty far, but the finals he has not reached in a very long time, and he's about to do it again.
Yeah, last year, with a lot of the players that we see on stage right now, it was the semifinals. That was the barrier that they could not cross against Dom1. However, today, with the addition of Zeus, with the dominant year that they've had, it feels like that they've reached a point where they're ready to return to the pedestal, the pinnacle of League of Legends. Now, JDG, they're a team you can't afford to underestimate. They've been put in this position many times before, and we know that they are resilient. Let's see what they can bring out against the powerhouse that is T1, this best of 5.
Exactly. You cannot underestimate this team. Both the ability to come back in-game, in team fights, and also in series.
There it is.
In the LPL, semifinals and finals, full 5-game series for them, made them work for it. Now FLICKR's getting the honor here of the target ban. JDG, they've got too many target bans to deal with. There's so many threats on T1. It is magnificent though. I think back to this Reddit thread where people were talking, you know what, FLICKR deserves more than a skin. He deserves a champ in the game. He already has one. It's Rise.
I agree with that one. Is it Graves? Yes, it is. So I like this from JDG. Says, look, there is a tournament meta. On the patch, we believe we know the strongest champion, but T1 are winning on things we are not willing to pick ourselves. Sejuani, we can trade back and forth. Viego, we can trade back and forth. But Lucian and Rise in T1's hands, not allowed.
Really, really good Viego steal away, because when JDG picks Sejuani, it is almost always going into 3-6-9 stance. Kanavi only has 1 career game on Sejuani. They want to pair the Sejuani top lane with a carry jungler. So stealing away the Viego pushes Kanavi down to this Bel'Veth, and it's going to put more emphasis on how he can play that early game. Sejuani, of course, does so well when matched with melee carries to proc that stun so quickly. And no hesitation here, instantly locked in.
The Karma blind from JDG. Of course, this does have room to be flexed between both mid and support. We'll see what direction JDG choose to go with it. Somewhat ironic that it was that Karma from many years ago in FLICKR's hands. Regardless, the Varus locked in for Gumayusi. Another big comfort pick for him, something that gives him a lot of agency in the bot lane. Often they will pair it alongside the Tahm Kench for Keria, and we saw how dominant they could be as they demonstrated when they played up against RNG in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I think the focus on bottom lane and getting a powerful bottom lane for JDG is necessary because, let's be honest, T1 have completely bot diffed this series thus far.
So
when you pick Karma this early, what you get is a flex pick that can either guarantee a pushing heavy poke bottom lane for you, or even allow Yagao to take it into mid lane if they really want to pull some crazy stuff here and do a bottom lane counter pick later. Karma always pairs well with double poke lanes like Ezreal, so let's take a look here. They're still banning Yagao.
Yep. And banning a good safety choice here out of Gumayusi as well. No Tahm Kench from Varus, a very common pick. Obviously Karma, a small takeaway from that lane as well. It's just so much lane dominance, you really can't be out-pushed. We'll see if Heimer ends up making its debut on this one, but a ways to go until we see that. Second bans to come through. No Ashe, looking again at lane dominant. It means that Ezreal is available, though not a huge favorite.
Crazy, interesting test now we're putting too. T1 have done this multiple times where on this third pick, they pick a mid lane and then ban to protect it. Yagao has always countered with the Taliyah. They're saying, hey, you're not gonna pick the Akali, the kill counter into Azir. That is very normal. I wanna see if that is actually true. If he goes onto the Sylas again.
Renata is a very good answer here from T1. Very safe. So far, their draft, I would say, is just very safe. There's very few holes in what they've got. They've got a lot of long range at their disposal. They have good solid engage thanks to the Varus. They have good disengage or follow-up with the Renata ultimate when combined with Varus. They have a lot of skill expression and pick. Like, it just depends on how they round out their composition. Do they want more engage? Do they want side lane threat? There's a lot of flexibility here for T1.
Yeah, T1 are showing really good counter engage right now. As you mentioned, Renata ult's so good when the team is charging into you. That Sejuani, that Bel'Veth on the front lines. Locking it up here with the Jhin for bottom lane. There's that Sylas we were talking about, because Yagao has not shown the preference for the Akali answer into his ear. Almost always, this Sylas, he goes right back to it.
The couple cheeky hovers there. Keria playing with the fans' hearts. What direction will they go in? We expect Zeus to have a deep champion pool, and he will lock in his Gragas. A long time comfort for Zeus. He's been playing it ever since he first joined the LCK, even in some of his debut appearances. And into a tank matchup, it's something that he can feel very confident and safe in. Again, offers more disengage when complemented well with both the Renata and the Azir, along with adding to the pick options that they have, thanks to the flexibility of the Gragas ultimate.
Yep, completely agree. And I love it specifically into Kanavi Bel'Veth. When you're playing against JDG, you're always looking to answer Kanavi. He's the focus, and multiple forms of interrupt are so powerful versus champion. You need to have something to interrupt the E from this champion. If you can get rid of that damage reduction, it does not operate anymore in team fights. And Gragas bringing multiple interrupts, I think is a really good answer. Even though you're used to seeing Zeus, we want him on this big carry pick. What's he gonna do this time around into the tank top lane? Love this pick because multiple forms of CC.
Now time ticks down. This could be the last time these two coaches shake hands. Bengi on stage with T1, with FLICKR for every one of those World Championship victories. Maybe on his way to his own fourth in a new role as head coach. Spent a split playing in the LPL, came back to T1 of the coaching staff. Has done so well with this team. Is this the last time these teams meet? The first and last time these two orgs go head-to-head. JDG, the last hope of the LPL. For 4 years in a row, the LPL made the World Finals. A different team each time. JDG, the most unlikely of candidates. 369 cut from Top Esports. Hope and Missing cut from their relative teams as well. JDG signed them, win the summer split, and now the last hope of their country. Need to win 2 in a row.
Let's see if they can usurp T1. Right now leading the series. They're looking to get early information on the bot side of the map, making sure that the bot lane 2 versus 2 has a little bit more control. We've been seeing Guma and Keria be hyper-aggressive in the bot lane 2 versus 2, sometimes to a fault, where they have been killed in the 2 versus 2 by Hope and Missing. What I think is scary about this Jhin and Karma lane is it does have a lot of power in its straight-up 2v2 with the amount of poke and damage, especially with that 4th shot from the Jhin.
Yeah, what you get when you invest in this lane for JDG is way, way, way more safety for your bottom lane. It's double poke, as you mentioned. It's also, Jhin is one of the AD carries that can start with Boots Potion. Very rare. So much more sustain with the extra potion down there for him in case he gets the worst of the trades, because let's be honest, what we've seen in this series is the T1 bottom lane that was promised. They were prophesized, they were talked up as being the best bottom lane in the world, and they only lost that title due to some underperformances in summer, but it's really nice on the world stage to see Gumayusi and Keria truly living up to some of that hype.
And it really has been in the team fights where we've been seeing Guma really step up alongside Keria, of course. You don't want to take anything away from the support of T1. The fact that he went deathless for so long in both Game 1 and Game 2, his Nami was phenomenal. Now we'll finally get to see him on something a little bit different alongside Guma. Let's see how much of an impact they can have in this game, as they are getting pushed in at these early levels, kind of as we expected in the 2v2 matchup.
Yeah, and we've seen him already with some, I would say, game-winning Renata ultimates in this tournament. See if he can... Oh, damn, the double poke.
Cleanse Ignite versus Cleanse Ignite. That means there is no heal. There's no way to get your health back up. You can drop the dot, but the first take of Ignite will still land. Summoner spell-wise, arguably Ignite counters Cleanse.
And throughout the series, we have been seeing...
Flash, handshake back, trying to burn him down, and he will drop the T1 bottom lane. Continues to dominate.
Keria, that was magnificent. Are you kidding? The handshake right on missing as he flashes. Holy moly, predicted, outplayed, annihilated. This T1 bottom lane, the one that was promised, absolutely insane.
I mean, that I feel caught everyone off guard. Keria played that so well.
For sure, mid was caught off guard.
Just as we were singing his praises, he's able to find a play like that. The burst damage was ridiculous. So let's have a look back and see how he does it. Flash, handshake, root. It's just clean, isn't it? No bit of damage was missed. Really understanding the limits of his champion. You give him a champion that has a little bit more agency than an army, and he does stuff like that. You can see why Keria is so respected worldwide.
Finds a knock, a decent damage. Under the turret's gonna be a bit much. Takes a shot, but it does put damage in toward FLICKR. Kanavi always happy to share a bit of XP with a laner. Total experience for your team does go up that way, but it will slightly delay Yagao's road to 6.
Yeah, man. Keria flashing in for the point-blank handshake, just knowing there's not going to be a response and a return visit now. Oner is down here. Keria moves in again.
Hope has cleanse, Hope has flash. Keria gonna hold on to it. There we go, gets away from both skill shots at once. Not gonna find the poke back either.
The awkward thing for JDG's bot lane now is their wave is in a terrible state and their jungler is nowhere near to offer support. T1 know that Kanavi is top as well, and the fact that JDG's bot lane can't get control of the river, Missing has to contest this bush to make sure that the jungler has gone back to base. Now they can actually walk up and contest the wave. That could have been a lot worse for the bot lane of JDG.
Playing towards the top side has not worked thus far for JDG. Let's see if it does this time around as Oner comes over to cover Zeus on this big cannon wave that's coming into him.
It's a big farm lead for 369, but you're right, only in the Jax game did the top priority turn into a win. And Sejuani, not exactly a carry, though really good damage out of Yagao. 100 health left on the FLICKR, able to eat back in. Oner now spotted on the Viego. Is Yagao going to be really in danger? Gets away from the stun, but it does mean he's got to drop away from this wave for a bit.
Yeah, he's going to chase him off. Yagao had already teleported back, so FLICKR actually, even though his wave is pushing, he can teleport right back to this lane. That's why Oner's not hard shoving instantly. Looks like he is going to walk it in there anyways, but Yagao already using his teleport means the extra damage there from Oner is going to stick, and it should allow FLICKR to continue trying to abuse the ranged matchup here, pushing in on Yagao, poking him under tower as he tries to pick up things.
We didn't talk about it, but this is actually FLICKR's first Azir game at Worlds. Of course, the man is very familiar with Azir. See if JDG can find a pick on a nice sidestep from FLICKR.
Oh, guesses that FLICKR will juke left, but FLICKR holds the course. Gets away from the stun. Yagao chunked down to 300.
He is sidestepping everything. How can you pin down a T1 member when they don't even flash? They have the confidence to juke every skill shot you throw at them.
Beautiful play there from FLICKR. He's used to the pressure from Kanavi at this point, and with the push that they have in bot lane and the fact that Kanavi coming mid just allows Yagao to go back to base means that there's a very easy opportunity to secure this first dragon. Very well played from T1 in the early game, starting to build a small gold lead.
I mean, honestly, I would be demoralized going for ganks on this guy and having him just completely juke it out. He holds onto his flash both times. When Sylas has him so low under tower, FLICKR confidence, doesn't burn his flash. He walks it out, walks away with 75 HP, continuing to hold on to these cooldowns, and now he's level 6 too, so even has the ultimate to disengage. Let's refocus though. Kanavi on his Bel'Veth pick. Going to go for the invade on red buff here, take it away from Oner as his recall goes off from the bottom lane. So Kanavi will continue with this little lead that he has gotten. Very minute, but is there.
I do want to point out that FLICKR has rushed himself Oblivion Orb in the lane. Keep in mind that what he's against is the Dorn Shield and Second Wind. One thing that, for those who've been, hold on, we got to play the bottom side. The flash away from the handshake. Keria does not have flash. They're going to guarantee the kill, and Hope is going to claim one. You can see the game now back within a 200 gold spread.
That's a 3-6-9 gank. He's saying, you know what, last game, I got a lead, I wasn't able to impact the rest of the map. This time he's saying, I'm level 6, I'm ganking bot, boys. They moved the Sylas up to top lane so that he can now rotate over to mid. Kanavi is now here as well. I don't expect him to get the kill onto FLICKR, but great map movement there from JDG. That caught T1's bot lane completely off guard.
Exactly, Vedius. It's the rotation of mid lane up to top to get the pressure there, top lane down to go for the gank, and then jungle comes in so they don't lose out on any minion waves while still allowing 3-6-9 to try and 1v9 again. He's like, there's a fire on bottom side. I want to go clean it up.
Good ward there, really good control ward. Oner was suspicious. of JDG hovering in that topside river, but they will spot it out and no fight will ensue.
Pretty important thing that pro junglers do on the Viego is the view range of their sweeper is larger than the view range of someone else seeing you while camouflage. Yeah, we had the vision difference anyway, and it's like, yep, can't see me. All right, someone's there. Cool. Ward, walk out. No danger here. We've now got the Herald play available. It's 8 minutes in. Both teams trying to fight for it. The patience runs out. No one's killing it yet.
So the objective is slow to secure, which gives time for JDG to push out top and mid wave. Meanwhile, T1 are buying time for Guma to join the rest of the squad. He will now arrive with his ultimate available. Looking at the supports as well. Curious as to how close they are to level 6, because that really could be the difference maker in the fight, as we see both teams once again contesting over this mid wave.
5 flashes up for T1. Missing both from the bottom lane. And of course, this guy didn't bring one his side, but he's got his ulti up. Cleanse ability for Guma means there's only so many good targets. His Herald's being attacked. T1, will they find their way in? Barrel spots a ward, and they're gonna knock that down with a trinket themselves. Stolen Cask is only a disengage. Ultimately, JDG do not find their way out of the Herald yet.
Yeah, they're gonna restart it, try and pull them back in. Oner still lurking around with the camouflage on.
So the awkward thing for JDG right now is there is a big wave stacking up in the bot lane that is just bleeding away minions. The engage.
Gonna find the root. The ulti from Varus doesn't get too much more. The re-engage looks pretty good. Yagao flashes in for a bit of damage. Ulti stun's gonna land. Can they kill Oner? He dives in, and the Berserk comes across. Kanavi is low, gets the ult, and he goes 1 for 1. Looking for a bit more now. Yagao is in the front line. Already though, Sejuani is dead. FLICKR flashes, Ignite kills him, and Hope is safe in the wings, but the CC is too good. Yagao will die, delivers himself the death. 4th shot, not quite the kill. Karma can't get it either. Sidestepping the last shot just barely. Gumayusi still safe. Gumayusi still firing. Slowed down, but without mana cannot secure a kill.
Wow, what a crazy fight. Every single member walking away on such low health bars, but Guma continues to be clean, sidestepping everything, but T1 walk away the victors of the fight as JDG secure themselves the Herald.
I love it because even though the kills were close, we burn away all the flashes. Look at this, flash initiation for Guma, but Hope has cleansed. So he just cleanses and walks out. Then they go for the turnaround off of the knockup onto Guma. They're trying to get back to this flashless carry, but they get the Sejuani ultimate here onto Oner. He ults back in towards this Rift Herald as 369 picks it up and walks out. Bailout allows them to continue the fight, but he's so tanky and trying to move it through. FLICKR in the back line. Flashes away, still has the Ignite on him though, so burns down anyway. It's just the other side of the fight was fluffed so much, and Yagao gives this one over. Guma now, no mana after this arrow, but he's got auto attacks to push them off, and the flash from Hope also being burned like a matador, dodging that Gragas.
Zeus lived because his passive popped on body slam. He was dead the 4th shot. Somehow Hope was like, this might not kill. I gotta flash the body slam that could have landed on me. Somehow was right about that one. He lived with a sliver of health.
The thing that got me about that fight was in the replay seeing FLICKR just glide into the backline and he just looked at the AD carry and both ultimates were just in this really awkward position. But at the end of the day, T1 walk away as the victors of the fight. And again, huge credit to Gumayusi, been involved in every single kill alongside his support. That's another dragon secured for T1. Similar to last game, we find themselves with control over these early objectives. But how can JDG now use this early Herald to gain an advantage over T1?
Well, right now it's 3 plates left from the top side. 369 was given the gold in the previous game on Renekton. Now on Sejuani, still again, not a carry champion. Love to see him get it somewhere else, but I guess it'll be shared by Kanavi. 369 actually gonna take his share of the gold. See if Bel'Veth can be a big enough carry. Certainly 369 is up in farm, but will that matter enough?
Yeah, we're seeing it again and again. JDG trying to have Kanavi and 369 carry these games because T1's bottom lane is just relentless. Again, this Rift Herald used on top side does get a pretty high value secondary charge, but bottom lane is kind of
Flash stun. Varus can't land it himself, though, forcing the flash that are missing. He will stay alive, trading flashes with the opposing jungler. But with the wave thinning out, they're not going to get much more of this damage. The plate itself will not drop. Hope wants his 4th shot, can't quite get it. There we go, Guma takes the trade. And with Varus ulti on, there's a chance they find that kill. They gotta block the shots, they will do so. The shields come out as well from the support. Get away from the deadly flourish.
Well played by T1 to get away unscathed, but you can see the biggest difference between this game and the last two. There's no FLICKR. FLICKR on the rise, roaming to bot lane to create this 4-man stack dive, made it so much harder for Hope and Missing to weather the storm. But in a 3 versus 2, with the Karma, with the additional shields and mobility that they have, it's that much safer compared to what we saw before, which means that they hold on to their tower, and JDG have now accrued an ever so slight gold advantage while not having the AD carry be put behind in the same way.
Yeah, this is a much different style of comp from T1 this time around. Tank on the top side for Zeus, scaling, teamfight carry mage for FLICKR this time around. A lot less roaming, less of those chaotic, scrappy plays, building up for a little bit more of the front to back. But we've already seen crazy things like Guma flashing forward to go for the Varus initiations as well.
And it's only a 200 gold lead between the two AD carries. You have to feel bad for Missing, trying his best to get level 6, now does have it, but has been losing out a lot on XP. As Oner now getting bullied out by 369. I don't expect much more to come off the back of this. We kind of turn our attention to objectives as an ultimate comes down.
Catches them both, has to cleanse, still 4 shots his teammate, has to get away from Varus ulti, and Missing will die. Round 2 isn't good enough, he's running into the tower, Guma gets the shot, and T1 get a double kill.
This T1 bottom lane don't miss. Hiding the ultimate over the wall, Keria zones them off, and then they still walk right back into it, T1. Obliterating this bottom lane.
It's just too clean from the T1 bot lane. Absolute destruction in the isolated 2v2. They will secure another tower, and all of a sudden, 369 in the mid lane.
Gonna find the stun, a whole lot of damage, a shuffle, buys a second, the shield survives a bit longer, but 369 still drops, and Viego is ready to claim a couple of corpses. It's not gonna come through for Yagao. Ignite will not kill Zeus, and T1 are winning everywhere.
FLICKR is just so good. The fact that he could get that ultimate out at the last second to set up for Oner and Zeus to turn it around. T1 find 3 kills, and they will hold on to the gold lead.
FLICKR always looking for the turnaround play. He does not panic and try and ult them away from him. With his dying breath, ults them into the tower, tells the rest of the members of T1, you've got this, you can pick up the kills. I will die for this. Here it is. Keria around with the control ward you see up in the river, able to get the ultimate off right over the wall here. And then Hope walking right there, does have to cleanse it as well, and they go for Missing first. Full confidence with the fully stacked lethal tempo and the passive from Varus. Insane attack speed from him, blows him up.
And the tower management was so good as well. Look, so much thrown onto FLICKR, the chain CC, but he gets that ultimate off just underneath the tower, and he buys a little bit of time, but we're back into the action.
Try the 5-on-5 now for the Rift Herald. We've got a full item and a half here into Gumayusi. Gonna feel comfortable on this Varus, the team fight it out. Gale Force boots to the side. Patience about to run out. They can get the last shot and try for it. 1200 HP. The spike comes through clean on the JDG side. It is engaged for T1, but will it be enough? Yagao lower and lower and lower. The snipe from Gumayusi claims the kill. And he's gonna get more thanks to Oner. He plays the mid laner better than Yagao does. Holds in for a bit more, forcing out the flash. But FLICKR does not care. Only one man is left alive.
T1 do it again, and Baker's not done. No second wasted. Teleports to the bottom lane to immediately take 4 from JDG.
Unbelievable team fight from T1. The start of the fight looked promising for JDG, but this early game is snowballing out of control, and it is off the back of this bot lane and the man in the mid lane, FLICKR, as he looks to return to the World Finals once more.
It is beautiful to see the 2 generations of League gods on T1 play together. Look at this. They don't get the smite, but FLICKR does so much damage here with the Azir moving forward, and Oner goes for the reset. Guma firing off the snipe, nails the first kill for him, so then Oner gets that body, jumps forward, picks up the Sylas, and chases down the rest of them. FLICKR goes with the short route on the inside, flashes over into the wolves for the angle.
Beautiful play from FLICKR. And while he has not played Azir at Worlds yet, you can see that he is still a master at the champion. The cheers from Zeus as the ulti comes through.
Another 369 finds death number 4, but the re-engage from Bel'Veth is almost enough, but it is not. FLICKR in the mid lane, the dragon after.
JDG are completely aced 18 minutes into the game. T1 are playing with nothing but confidence as they rip apart the last hope of the LPL.
Faker's never been eliminated by an LPL team, and he sure as hell is not gonna start today.
What an incredible performance. T1 seem to have only gotten better and better from game to game. JDG have put up a strong fight, but here in game 4, it is nothing but the T1 show. And we have to give so much credit. We sing the praises of FLICKR, we sing the praises of Gumayusi, but Keria's ultimates have been unbelievable in these team fights, hitting 3, 4, 5 members consistently. And the plays that he has been making in the 2 versus 2, he's been involved in 15 of the 18 kills.
Absolute beast for sure. Here's a look at the engage, and Zeus, immediately they go straight for frontline. They knock back the Sejuani, and because of the comp this time around, it's easy for them to finish that out. FLICKR then goes around the back. Nobody's getting out of here.
It's like FLICKR from the back, Gumayusi from the left, Oner from the front. They're being flanked when they just shouldn't be. The focus on his face. He knows that this game is his.
They're gonna find an engagement to the tower. Oner, though, able to get away with his ulti, staying alive, still has the flash. Good damage to the front side, though. They could kill Zeus. They could go for more. Here comes the Berserk, and even JDG is gonna kill JDG. The T1 reinforcements arrive, and it's a 4-0.
They can't even kill off the Gragas. He was so low under tower. Almost goes down, heals off his passive, then gets the bailout from Keria. My goodness, this T1 team, they are marching straight towards finals.
I respect the resilience of JDG. They are doing everything in their power to come back into this game, but T1 are just too strong. They will secure a Baron on spawn, and they're looking to make their way back to the World Finals.
Here's a look at the attempt this time. They try and burst on Oner. He ultimates away. They kite through, and then they turn their sights. Next closest target. Burn down the Gragas. Zeus gets slow, low. But Keria, with the ult flash over the wall, hits them with the backline, comes in, and Guma can find the snipe, set up with his ultimate as well. Cleaning house, even getting the bailout for Zeus.
This team is just so good. What an ultimate once again from Keria. And JDG know there's little that they can do to turn this game around.
You had the perfect setup, Thaddeus. You were talking about it. There's a reason this kid from the very beginning, support prodigy, got Rookie of the Year and was such a highly prized pickup for T1, but Guma.
The bailout will buy a second. Have to find a kill. They should still knock him down, but it was close. Hope down a 400 HP himself.
He almost makes it 2. That will be his first death of the game, but still, 19 KDA here in game 4. This bot lane continues to be incredible. And T1 still in firm control. This will buy JDG a little bit of time, but not that much. If we draw our attentions to the bot lane, we can see FLICKR pushing in this wave, securing another tower for T1. The next dragon spawns in about 1:40, and T1 are going to want to do as much damage as they can.
369 putting out the TES flare. A few years ago, made it to the World Semifinals, lost to Suning in the first Worlds the last 4 years that the LCK actually won. That was Dom won. And now at the same spot he was, semifinals, but staring down the barrel of T1 closing out the series.
Yeah, he got a lot of flack because of that TES team and dropping out, but had such a big resurgence this year. Let's see if they can pull it off. They teleport flank. He is behind FLICKR and the rest of JDG in front.
Slow but not a root. 1 through for the karma, but not going to be enough. Shuffling back in. Kanavi taking for a bit. It's a 1-for-1. FLICKR drops, but Oner is now on Bel'Veth. Oner is going to find another kill and going for a whole lot more. Yagao stuck in place. Stolen Gragas will be not going to matter. And Zeus is here to chase down Karma. 369 drops. Missing drops. And T1 once again bathe Summoner's Rift in the blood of their enemies. 29-7. You wanted more than 1 kill a minute? Just T1 have that mark as they go for the top lane.
ace after ace after ace. T1 is unstoppable. There is nothing that can stand in their way and return to the pedestal with which they made their name. T1 is looking to cement themselves even further as the legend among legends.
A League of Legends movie in the making. All right, here's the attempt on FLICKR's life, though, from JDG. They never give up. They always are trying to pick off somebody, and they, in the end, trade 1 for 1. They get the kill, but guess what? T1 are too far ahead, and Oner getting these resets. As soon as the rest of the team gets here, they're so outmatched in items. It's just a bloodbath. Oner making this champ look broken again. Ulting to catch him out. No one left alive as Zeus is able to chase down the Karma as well.
And you can see the idea from JDG, which is we have to find a pick, we have to find something. We're too far behind. We need shutdown gold. We need anything that can buy us time to get back into this game. But every single time, it is T1 not allowing them that window as T1 once again look for a pick.
Not gonna find it just yet, but this time, it might be to close the game out. T1 came into the series. They had only won 1 game slower than 30 minutes. They were stomping hard and fast, and now 24 minutes in, just about closing the loop here, trying to find the backline access. Kanavi cannot get in. Gragas only sends them back out. JDG, a brief respite, but only for a moment as FLICKR takes down Yagao. Gumayusi secures the kill, but it was still the doing of the mid laner, the greatest of all time. 10 years in his career, 5 years since Ruler kicked him out in the finals. And tomorrow we may see him rematch that man for his 4th title. The Nexus turrets fall. T1 back to the finals for the first time in 5 years. And a team full of homegrown, home-scouted talent. And a stomping game 4 over JDG.
What an arc for this T1 team as well. Gaining power in their ascent towards the finals. Every member performing, every member stepping up.
The expectations coming into this series was that it would be the battle of top lane gods, 369 versus Zeus. But it really all became about the bot lane 2 versus 2. Gumayusi in these fights and Keria alongside him continue to dominate. An unbelievable performance from T1. This team fell short in the finals of LCK Summer, and there were question marks around them. But here at the World Championship, they have done nothing but gain momentum, improve, and dominate on the world stage.
You can't attack any area of T1. FLICKR dodging skill shots, not even blowing his flash, with relentless pressure sent towards the mid lane. And if you send pressure there, guess what? Guma and Keria know you're alone in a 2v2, and they like those odds, smashing you themselves. Absolutely insane stuff from this team all series long. Props to JDG, a valiant effort here, but they were simply outmatched.
Beautifully done here by T1, another world semifinal for 369. Kanavi back from quarters from last year. Yagao back from quarters, sorry, from a couple of years ago, back when they were still on JDG. The new faces come in, they make semis. It's not a bad road for the team, but it does end at the hands of FLICKR and the rest of his young gun teammates, everyone on that team, 19, 20 years old. And I think you said it earlier, the new generation of talent, the new generation of legends. You have FLICKR, a 10-year-long career with 3 trophies to his name, looking for number 4 now with head coach Bangi, that he did it alongside. But a bunch of players, 3 of them scouted by T1 themselves. Keria grabbed just a year after his rookie year, and they're here to dominate again.
It's just, it's crazy to see the trajectory and investment from T1 after what they had was a super team back in 2019 that couldn't quite make it, to then going back to the drawing board and reinvesting in young talent. Like, you've talked about it so much. These players are 18, 19, like all around the veteran and FLICKR, the fact that they've been able to grow so much in such a short amount of time, 5 games against RNG, the MSI Finals, and the undefeated run in the LCK in spring, falling short to Genji in summer, but now they make their way back to the World Finals, and they'll be going up against an LCK rival.
There was debate in the offseason. Who are they going to fill with this top lane? Are they going to sign one of these prized, already proven top laners? Nope, nope, nope. They trust in their system. They build them up, and combined with FLICKR, the icon that is League of Legends, you get the recipe for success.
I will say, eulogizing JDG, 369 should be proud of how well he played. I thought he was incredible in every single game he played. I'm sorry you lost, but you were amazing. The jungle, Kanavi, he's been with JDG his entire career as well. Started as a lone off from Griffin, but every game he has played has been under the JDG banner. Again, amazing the entire time in this series. But as a team, everyone saw this series. T1 is the better team.
They certainly were. And yeah, okay, we saw some blunders from Guma in the laning phase here and there, but he almost immediately made up for them. His Lucian performances, the Varus and Renata bot lane, like, it just goes to show that when you give Keria something that has a little bit more agency than just a bubble, this man just rips through the rift. And I'm hoping that we get to see even more from him and what he's capable of as a support. Just, you summed it up. When you sit there and you look like Oner is their quote-unquote weakest part, it's all relative, right? It's one of those things where even though he's the weakest part, it feels like that this team just has no real weaknesses that you can look to exploit.
And with that, the LCK cement their dominance over 2022. This means 3 LCK teams left in the bracket. We see Genji versus DRX tomorrow to figure out who will match T1 in the finals. You hinted at it, Freak. There could be a rematch with Ruler. So many storylines, depth. The Last Dance, really, this fairy tale success for DRX, making their march, their small percentage chance, charge for that aim as well.
And it's fun to see because Gumayusi was so good in this series. He's had ups and downs, of course, but I'm pretty sure in all 4 games, he was the most damage dealt across the game, even in the loss. Just 4 games in a row of being the biggest player. Here we get a reel of FLICKR winning in 2013, winning in 2015, winning in 2016, losing in the finals, and then a 5-year drought of not making it back there. Quarters, semis, but back to the finals now.
Chills.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to be a FLICKR fan. If you've been around since the start, like, everyone has followed his career. Everyone knows, like, League of Legends is very lucky to have an icon like him within the scene. Incredibly humble. What a great name, too, FLICKR. To see him back at the World Finals is going to be exciting, and we know that everyone's going to watch to see if he can lift the trophy one more time.
Yeah, we'll see if it happens there. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. That's going to be next week, and of course, it's another match tomorrow as well. We are joining Dracos for a dual interview with FLICKR and Keria for a Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Atlanta, one more time for T1. FLICKR, it'd be foolish to start with anyone other than you in this moment. I have to know, after 5 years of fighting, after 5 years of trying, how does it feel to finally be back in a world final?
가장 먼저 지금 이 순간 페이커 선수에게 먼저 질문을 드리고 싶습니다. 5년간 정말 열심히 싸워오고 정말 열심히 노력한 끝에 다시 한번 월드 결승에 오르게 되었는데요. 소감이 어떠신가요?
이번에 좀 느낌이 좋았는데 그래도 마지막 한 발자국만 남은 것 같아서 너무 기쁜 것 같고, 그리고 팬분들을 위해서 이번에는 꼭 기회를 잡고 싶습니다.
I'm extremely happy right now. I had some good feelings this year, and then I feel like I'm just one step away from it. So it feels really great. And also this time around, I will hold on to this opportunity for my fans.
Absolutely fantastic to hear. Now for you, Keria, it's not the long history of World Finals or for trophies, but it is your first final. And so I want to ask you very much the same question. How does it feel to take down JDG and to move on to the last best of 5?
이제 캐리아 선수도 정말 처음으로 월드 결승 진출이라는 기록을 달성하셨는데요. JDG를 꺾고 월드 결승에 진출하신 소감이 어떠신가요?
일단 RNG와 중동을 잡고 올라왔는데 두 팀 다 되게 잘하는 팀이라 생각해서 더 기쁘고, 그리고 제가 국제 대회를 이제 네 번째인데 8강, 4강 준우승을 했거든요. 그래서 이번에 꼭 우승을 할 수 있도록 최선을 다해서 우승을 하고 싶습니다.
So we beat RNG and JDG, two teams that we actually thought are really strong. So I'm really happy. And my entire career, looking back, it was quarterfinals, semifinals, runner-up. So I think this is the time.
And I absolutely love the confidence. Before we look ahead towards the match next week, before we look ahead towards tomorrow even, I want to talk to you a little bit about your performance, Keria, you and Guma specifically. You killed people 2v2, you died 2v2. How did you feel about your individual performance today?
오늘 또 바텀에서 구마유시 선수와 함께 정말 눈부신 활약을 보여주셨습니다. 2대2를 싸울 때 뭐 이기기도 했고 어쨌든 죽기도 했는데 오늘 본인의 경기력에 대해서 어떻게 생각하시나요?
이제 오늘 경기력은 좀 좋았던 것 같은데 이제 라인전 하면서 뭔가 첫 판에 긴장을 좀 해가지고 좀 잘 안 된 것 같아서 그거 말고는 만족하는 편인 것 같습니다.
I'm pretty happy with my performance today. During the laning phase in game number 1, I was a little bit nervous, so I dropped the ball. But other than that, I'm pretty happy.
And I think rightfully so. What do you guys say? 2v2 looking pretty good. Baker, you on the opposite side. Game 1, the Galio, but from there, game 2, game 3, it was the Rise. This is a pick that everyone in the world knows you for, and I think we're all just wondering why here, why today was Rise the right choice for you?
그리고 페이커 선수 오늘 1경기에서는 갈리오로 잘 풀리지 않았지만 2, 3경기 라이즈를 가져오면서 경기를 풀어나가는데 정말 중요한 역할을 했습니다. 페이커 선수 하면 라이즈고 모두가 알 정도로 정말 유명한 픽인데 오늘 이 순간 이 자리에서 라이즈를 꺼내게 된 계기가 뭔가요?
일단 라이즈라는 친구가 좀 이번에는 안 써주냐고 자꾸 물어봐가지고 쓰게 됐습니다.
So my good old friend Rice, he was keep nagging, why aren't you logging me in? So I give it a go.
And what a friendship it's been. The next question for you, Keria, I think is going to be a hard one because tomorrow you watch a lot of your former friends and teammates play each other to see who will be meeting you in the final. And so I have to know, who do you expect will be facing you in San Francisco?
이제 캐리아 선수에게 질문입니다. 내일 치러지는 준결승전에서 이제 캐리아 선수의 정말 많은 전 동료들이 서로 이제 싸움을 펼칠 예정인데요. 어떤 식으로 예상하고 계신가요?
일단 DRS도 그렇고 진지도 그렇고 일단 여기까지 올라온 팀은 다 잘한다고 생각하고 다 저력이 있다 생각해서 이제 누가 이길지 전혀 모르겠고 이제 저는 먼저 올라갔으니까 잘 아무나 올라와서 높은 곳에서 마주쳤으면 좋겠습니다.
Well, because both teams made it to the semifinals, it means that they have proven so much. They've been doing great, and now that I've already locked it in finals, I don't really care much. I don't know what's going to happen, so I just wish them best of luck, and I hope we can meet at a greater stage.
And I have to respect it. If we look ahead, your regular season was so close to lifting a trophy until you met Gen G in the finals. And if Gen G end up being the team that you meet, FLICKR, I have to know, what is going to be different this time around that will allow you to be a world champion once again?
사실 지난 서머 시즌도 T1이 서머 시즌 우승에 정말 가까웠지만 젠지에게 꺾이고 말았습니다. 만약에 결승전이 젠지와의 리매치가 형성된다면 어떤 점이 다르고 어떤 식으로 T1이 이번에 승리를 가져올 수 있을까요?
지난 젠지전은 너무 무력하게 져가지고 저희가 굉장히 칼을 많이 갈고 왔고 이번 월드에서는 확실히 다르다는 것을 보여드릴 수 있을 것 같습니다.
So in the previous match against Gen G at finals, we were not able to do anything. We just lost. But this time around, we were all so grinding hard, and we are different this time around. So I think this is our chance to prove that we are going to be different.
The fans are ready for it. Frankly, I'm ready for it as well. One final question before I let you both go. I'll give each of you the opportunity to answer if you want it. There are 3 LCK teams left. There are no LPL teams left. Who is the best region in the world?
지금 상황에서 LCK 팀만 3팀이 남았고요. LPL 팀은 하나도 남지 않았습니다. 세계 최고 지역이 어디라고 생각하시나요?
저는 네, LCK라고 생각하고 그 중에서도 T1이 최고라고 생각합니다.
So Keria just said.
실수라고.
I think obviously LCK, and among the 3 teams, it's gotta be T1 being the best.
And frankly, that's the kind of confidence we look forward to ahead of the finals. Thank you both again so much for taking the time. Thank you to you, Jhin, for translating in this wonderful, wonderful match. Let's hear it one more time for T1! And in the meantime, we can send it back over for cooldown at the desk.
Thank you so much, Dracos, and welcome back to Worlds Cooldown here at the State Farm Arena. T1 have done it again, 3-1 fashion, and they have booked their ticket to the finals.
Oof, what a crazy series.
They turned on the afterburners in that game 4. I mean, the series was already delivering, and then T1 found another level.
It was everything, really, wasn't it? Bot lane was winning 2v2, FLICKR was doing highlight plays, Keria and Gumayusi were just unleashed in fights. This game, everything just blew wide open, and you could see JDG on blue side just threw everything out the window. You know, they banned away majority of the champs, they took away the Ryze, they took away the Lucian Nami angle, and they thought they could swap the entire game up and play these new styles. And I think 369 played pretty well, getting the lane gank bot despite his bot losing, trying to help his team as much as possible, but T1 were just relentless and they stood strong in the face of a draft that was a lot different.
Jhin, Karma is something we haven't seen at all really at Worlds, kind of felt like conceding the fact that like we can't match them, and still got that first blood off that Keria flash. So T1 just absolutely incredible, played angry and slammed the door shut on this series when it felt like the other games were kind of close, a lot of close team fights.
Yeah, also just goes to show, right, that well, for those first 3 games, all of the draft was warped around the top lane. When it came down to it, brass tack series point, it's the bot lane where the teams make the switch, but T1 still finds the answer.
Well, when we talked about, so I'm sorry, Keria's Renata was just phenomenal this game.
Oh yeah.
But we've talked about how the bot lane was like kind of quietly, because there was so much top lane focus, doing really, really well consistently in these games. Not only in lane, but just finding these picks, finding these angles elsewhere in skirmishes. And then in this game, after that first Keria handshake, they just ran over the entire thing.
Yeah, I just respect JDG a little bit for going down the way that they fought all year long. Just head first, like, yeah, we're gonna keep fighting. We win through fighting, we lose through fighting. And you know, this game, they could have bled out, but they just kept going for it. And I mean, T1 was happy to keep beating them up.
Yeah, and one thing you saw constantly here was FLICKR's Azir, right? Previously, FLICKR kind of forced JDG to respond to his like phenomenal global pressure from the Ryze, from the Galio. And there are just so many cool stories around FLICKR that we haven't even mentioned. Like, yes, FLICKR and the Zoomers, but it's him raising another jungler, right? Like in the post-Bengi era, he kind of helped along all these other junglers. Oner is the latest one. Speaking of Bengi, he just stepped into the T1 coaching position.
I was gonna say.
There's just so much to talk about. And the thing that honestly really has impressed me the most isn't individuals, because we knew all of these players were absolutely cracked. It was their map play today. That was the most impressive thing to me.
I love that you brought up Bengi. The first thing I thought of is like,
Bengi.
T1 have struggled throughout the year with drafts. I think they've been dropping the ball a little bit here and there, but I just think of that scene in Dragon Ball when Gohan's fighting Cell and then Goku's behind him. It's like, dead, you know, in the spirit.
Bring it all full circle. I love it.
Yeah, with the anime
full circle.
because
Thanks, dude.
FLICKR is going to win, but he might win with Bengi. That's the thing, right? He's going to a finals with Bengi, and that's what brought him back.
They've been by each other's side.
They have.
From the beginning.
It's crazy.
From the first time they won a world championship right here in North America, and they're going back. But while every single player on T1 stepped up in some way across the entire series, in this game 4, it was Keria for us who deserves the 1+ OP player of the game, setting everything up, Mark, for Guma to start running through it.
Yeah, obviously everyone played well in the final game, but Keria himself being the key playmaker with the flash Q, with the ultimates. And for him, I'm so happy for his return to form. He was battling long COVID during the summer split. Obviously, Guma had a bit of a step down too, and people were kind of low on them through a lot of the year, second half of the year, excuse me. And so to see them step back up, absolutely dominate, and kind of be the key reason that T1 was able to win this series so decisively is just so happy for them.
Yeah, the entire series long. This game specifically, the Renata ults, the flash forwards, getting Guma ahead was just great to see. But even on the Lucian Nami games, you know, the bubbles he was doing in those fights were actually game-changing bubbles on 369, picks on 369 to stop his team from falling. There's a lot of trust in this bot lane. You can see they've grown so much throughout the year. And of course, they were a staple bot lane last year, but changing time with Teddy now and then. Gumayusi now finally gets a full season alongside Keria.
And with their kind of return to form here, I feel like this is the T1 that was promised at MSI, right? Like after their remarkably dominant LCK split, coming as MSI favorites, losing to RNG in the finals. I think with their increased map pressure and this bot lane back online, they're going to be unstoppable.
Do you see that damage per minute? That's over 4 games.
Let's go.
I was looking at the fact that he's the devil. He's 666 gold defeat.
That's true. He also has that.
He's also the devil.
That going for him. 915 damage per minute on average.
That's a big number.
That's nuts.
Especially over 4 games, right? You can have those 1 games, you know, where you're playing like a poke champ and you
Well,
break.
that's what I mean. Sure,
you break the 1,000 barrier, but 4
yeah.
games of it, it's just astounding.
And Lucian is not necessarily a poke champ. Like, you got to dash in if you're going to deal
But his damage was high in those games.
Yeah, man.
That's probably where his highest numbers were from, in all honesty, because he just kept pressing forward. And so an impressive showing out of the bot lane for T1, particularly when you color it with the expectation coming into the tournament. That was the target of most criticism for T1. Will they be able to pull it together? Will they be the weak link for T1? And today, that was absolutely not the case.
It definitely wasn't, and we highlighted at the start of the day what the weak point could be for T1, and it was jungle, it was Oner. And as much as he struggled in that game 1 up against Kanavi, I have to say that if you look back on the Damwon semifinals, Oner was getting a little bit gapped there by Canyon 2 against Damwon in those semis of Worlds 2021. But this time around, a lot more consistent. Managed to get the Viego a couple times, gave it over to Kanavi that game 1 and struggled, but jungle matchups with a couple bans made it so that was pretty even to the point where FLICKR could roam towards bot. Zeus was quiet in that GP game, but Oner was able to stabilize lanes that were losing or were falling behind enough to become a weak point to salvage it.
And that's why I really do have to credit their coordination, right? Like we talked about FLICKR kind of feinting, following Oner. We talked about Oner being able to affect his lanes. And honestly, like overwhelmingly, that is the thing that's most impressive to me is how well this entire team is working together.
And so, Mark, here we are again. It's 2022, and FLICKR is going to another World Final. We took a look at this graphic earlier in the day, but it bears repeating because while, yes, he picked up 3 World Championships across 2013 to 2016, he hasn't had quite the same success, while still arguably incredible success. But we know that at the very least, that final line is a trip to the finals and possibly picking it up again here in North America.
Just the gap between finals appearances is absolutely insane. You know, like to go for basically half of the League of Legends competitive ecosystem, half that time you were not able to make it back to finals, and then do it again in a game that changes so much year after year. The skill, dedication, and passion you have to be able to reach that level again is astronomical. I can't believe it, actually.
It's very rare. I mean, the only other player that even comes close to this is Deft in a way. Not in terms of results, but in terms of like how long they've been competing to be at this level still, right? And FLICKR is just a cut above everyone in results. Worst finish semifinals in God knows how many worlds. Was that 7 world championships he's been at?
Yeah,
A player would dream of one of those.
Right.
Let alone the win, but the semis itself. That's top 4 in the world. 7 times? Are you kidding?
I don't. No, I'm not. I don't know. We're not kidding, Cadril.
It's so funny because there was a period of time where like the conversation of best in the world ever was, you know, obviously his, and then there's that brief gap where people are like, I wonder if someone else will ever be able to overtake him, how long it would take. And now that he's back on top again, you're like, I probably never.
Get out of here.
Probably
Get
never.
out of here with that argument.
When Showmaker came in and won Worlds in 2020, everyone was like, this is going to be the year of, or like the dynasty of Showmaker in a way, where Showmaker will start to dominate, maybe another finals, maybe he can win it back-to-back. And FLICKR's done it 3 times now, going for his 4th, and, you know, Showmaker got knocked out in quarterfinals, right? FLICKR's never done that, you know? He's never lost in quarters, right? So, achievement-wise, will it ever be topped? I don't think so.
I would be hard-pressed to come up with a scenario in which that does get unseated. Again, all of us are going to have to be here for pretty much another decade in order to see.
Can you imagine us in 10 years what this AD would look like?
A lot more wrinkles, I think.
I cannot in the slightest imagine us still here.
2032.
I will have a heart attack watching some of those plays.
I will say,
in
I have
years.
seen all his finals appearances. I've been watching since season 1, so you know, it's
happy to say that I was in the
22.
audience. I was in the audience in 2013 in Staples Center when he won his
2032. We'll watch this segment back.
Yeah, I've been lucky to be on the net.
We'll have like a sleepover movie night and rewatch this.
Nice. Let's go.
See if he can get it. Let's pull up the bracket to see how things stand. Only 2 more best of 5s to go, one of which takes place tomorrow there on the bottom side of the bracket, as you can see, with T1 advancing 3-1 over JDG. It's down to Genji and DRX to see which of these 2 LCK squads will move on to challenge FLICKR and the rest of T1.
And it's going to be beautiful. It's either T1 versus Gen G rematch of the summer finals. We've now got the autumn finals, or it's Deft versus FLICKR. And I think both of those storylines, if you think about them, are just incredible. So whoever wins that series, it's going to be so exciting.
Also, coming out of the Gen G Tom 1 series, I was like, oh, whoever makes it out of this, like, they're gonna automatically be the world champions. I may have to rethink that now after today.
I'm
after
definitely
how well T1
just
played.
Church of Chovy disciple. Like, I want it for him so bad. Yeah, please.
All right.
Peanut,
We'll come
too.
back. We'll come back,
looking
give
for
some
that.
final thoughts in just a moment, but we would be remiss if we didn't jump to JDG's side to get a quick word. So before we wrap up our day, we're going to get a final word with JDG's 369 in our Verizon postgame interview.
Thank you very much, Dash. I am now joined by 369 after what was a very difficult loss for the side of JDG. My first question for you is just what happened in that series that ultimately allowed T1 to get such an advantage over you?
首先今天的比赛是非常遗憾的输掉了。想问一下，对于今天这场比赛的一个看法是什么样子的？因为说好像T1 今天的一个表现整体来讲是非常的无懈可击的。
我觉得就是T1的话还是蛮厉害的吧。然后我们今天可能状态不是很好吧，就是这样。我觉得我们跟他们是有的打的。
I think T1 today performed really well. They are a very strong team, but we didn't perform in a very good form today. So I think if we can play even better in a good form, we can be compatible with them.
Certainly makes a lot of sense, but when we look at your own individual performance, 369, you still had so many incredible moments. So I'm curious, when you look at just yourself, how do you feel about the performance that you showed today?
想问一下，对于今天比赛当中自己的一个表现是怎么样的一个看法？因为说今天其实有非常非常多的高光的嘛，那可能说对于自己来讲，怎么评价今天自己的一个发挥呢？
感觉还是有很多不足吧，就是感觉对线期做的挺好的，但是打团的时候可能作用没有那么大吧，就这样。
I feel like I still have a lot of shortcomings and weakness in today's game, even though I did quite kind of well during the laning phase, but I didn't just be a very useful character in the team fights.
Good to always hear that honest self-reflection, even if you did have so many standout moments. When we look ahead now with the LPL eliminated, how do you look at the LPL-LCK rivalry moving forward? Is this something that is important to you when we look ahead to the future?
想问一下，可能说在将来的话，对于 LPL 跟 LCK 的一个对决是怎么看待的？因为其实现在来讲 ，LPL 的赛区是已经淘汰了，那无法在这个世界赛继续的往前。想问一下，你在对于未来可能说 LPL 跟 LCK 的一个对决是怎么看的呢？
我觉得 LPL 还是很强的吧，就是 LPL 也有很多年轻的选手也很厉害，我觉得就明年再来呗。
I think LPL is still a very strong region, and we have very young but talented top players. So we'll definitely try next year.
Cannot wait to see it. A final question before we let you go here. Your team achieved so much at this tournament, and I just want to know if there's anything that you want the fans to remember about yourself, about JDG, when we look ahead towards next year and the tournaments to come.
今年其实 JDG 也在世界赛留下了很多的一个高光场面，想问一下说，你想让粉丝记住关于你或者关于 JDG 的一些什么样的部分呢？
我觉得就是今年 JDG 的话，我觉得我们就想让大家记住我们的团结吧，就这样。
I want everybody to remember the cooperation as of JDG.
It's a beautiful answer. Thank you so much for your time, 369. Again, condolences for the loss, and looking forward to what we see from you in the future. For now, we're going to send it back over to Dash at the desk.
Thank you very much, Dracos. It's never easy to say goodbye to a team, especially this late in the tournament, right? Because every step we get closer to the World Finals means it hurts that much more when you just barely miss the mark.
And I really love this JDG team. I feel like I've been pretty open about how much I love them. These players are such a cool group of misfits with a very interesting underdog story, despite the fact that obviously they were #1 seeds. So you're like, why is that? And each of them kind of had their own individual reasons to have a chip on their shoulder. Just the improvement from 369 himself as an individual player over the course of this year is truly impressive. So I hope at the very least, when people did watch them play today, even though it's a very triumphant day for T1, that maybe they gained a few more fans in there. You know, they're not the most popular team. I do really love this team, and I'm sad to see them go.
And that's exactly it. Coming into this tournament, I think a lot of Western fans especially didn't recognize a lot of these names internationally because they just haven't been there very often, or they haven't achieved enough for Western fans to recognize them in that sense. So I hope moving forwards into next year that people will look back on this Worlds and say, wow, okay, you know, in quarters, in groups, in semis, these are names I know from last year which are performing really well. The likes of Kanavi and 369, Yagao's Telio was fantastic. Hope and Missing had a good group stage as well. And if you look at their LPL playoffs run, it was a very tough run. The fact they won that LPL is impressive in and of itself. So I think this is definitely a team to remember and look back on.
Question though, we came into the start of the day, best top player in the world title was on the line. Who walked away with it?
Honestly, it's a tough call, right? Because even in the loss, I think most people look at each of those games individually and go, wow, 369 was popping.
You know what I would say? I guess it's time to stay tuned till next year to see it again.
Oh, you're such a coward.
You gotta stay tuned till next year.
I thought you were going to say it's a tie. Europeans love ties.
They do. They
the
do.
old meme.
Classic.
Look, I'm not in a position to be declarative.
I would say
about
369
that,
had a better individual performance.
Okay.
I think he did outclass Zeus in a couple of the matchups, but I will say a lot of JDG's focus was topside, so it's hard to criticize Zeus for falling behind in a lot of these dives when he's put in spots to be at a disadvantage from the get-go. So a slight edge in that sense, but still extremely even for me.
Yeah, I feel like he also got more draft resources in a sense. Or they were early game picks, like you take the GP into Renekton, you're kind of risking it at that point because you're going to scale, and you know, Zeus did that.
Yeah, for me, what I care about is that we're still having the debate. And I know that could sound like a
That's round two win. Round two win.
It just means the series was that good. It means the players are that good. And so, unfortunately for us, though, we say goodbye to the LPL with only LCK teams remaining in the tournament. One more semifinal to play before we ship off to San Francisco. As we do get that much closer to crowning our next world champions, a reminder that if you can't make it to San Francisco for finals, you can watch on the big screen with friends and family at one of 600 theaters and counting near you. Use the QR code below to purchase your tickets. But for now, that's going to do it from us here. So on behalf of myself, the Cashers, the entire live broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more Worlds. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Good night.
Hello, Georgia! Welcome, fans from around the globe. Atlanta, please join me in welcoming Korea's T1 and their opponents, champions of China, JDG and LoL Esports Club!
It's going to be the first one missing. Heal for move speed. Flash it himself. Double, not an ulti, but enough damage is going to be there. The polymorph. First blood for Gumayusi. He wants the second. In 369 again, marking the target. Oner comes in. He'll find a stun, though. And keep in mind, they've got Elder. Hope can't find the first kill, but 369 does. Zeus will drop as well. It's 2-0. And T1 runs for the hills. Sidestep Zeus' first Q. Gonna find the knockout now to Oner as well. He'll stay alive. They go back in for the combo. Huge damage coming across, and he's gonna find the kill to 369. Yagao doesn't find the root for Zazonias. In comes Zeus. Knocks down Missing. And there's the rest from Oner. Gets the second. Hope gonna lose the Guardian Angel, but how about the rest? As everyone's starting to fall, Kanavi is left alone. But you can't do it by yourself. You need a team. And T1 will tie up the scoreline. But he's waiting out. Milton with nothing. The flash in. Zeus the flash follow. It's a 1-for-1. But can Renekton win against Nocturne? The big stun. And 369. Forcing Shirelli is out. 369 cannot find his target. Locked in place. Needs to ult to stay alive, but he's feared. And he's fallen. Nocturne goes for number 2. Hope drops. A flash away from Missing. But Faker won't. And he's unstoppable.
루시안 잘하고 잘 먹었다. 위에서 탑 1대1이야? 이긴 거지. 앞에는 안 보이긴 한다. 나이스! 급빠지긴 했다.
Faker with 5 health left. Wins the one-on-one. The GOAT! Now he's got more enemies coming after him, though. He's going for the sneaky recall. Out of vision. They know he's on the left-hand side. Missing. Will not spot him go into the brush. They see. You can see it. You can see it. It was in vision. They don't walk over to the road ward. Faker with the okie doke. Complete juke tray here. Bolts in for a bit more. Forcing out the flash. But Faker does not care. Another 369 finds death number 4. But the re-engage from Bel'Veth is almost enough. But fall.